Okay, so you know how the excitement of building or renovating a home is almost immediately followed by the totally crushing reality of material costs? Yeah, we've all been there. Construction is just an industry that's notorious for rigid pricing and, frankly, hidden supply chain waste. But what if there was actually a way to completely bypass all of that? Well, welcome to our explainer on Kemetro Flash. It's a platform that is fundamentally rethinking how building and finishing products are bought and sold. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this limited-time group deal marketplace is basically attempting to turn traditional construction economics completely upside down.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the deals themselves, we kind of need to understand the foundation here. It's powered by Kemedar, and Kemedar isn't just some single storefront. It's an entire property and construction ecosystem. It's this massive network designed to handle literally everything, from real estate listings to the actual materials you use to build those properties. Understanding that Kemetro Flash operates within this much larger, established Kemedar universe is absolutely crucial, because it really explains the sheer volume and the reliability of the suppliers you're going to see on the platform.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll hit 1. Disrupting material pricing, 2. Inside flash deals, 3. The seller's advantage, 4. The eco-impact, and finally 5. The complete ecosystem. Let's just dive right in.
Number 1. Disrupting material pricing.
Right, so to understand why Kemetro Flash is gaining so much traction, we really have to recognize that for decades, getting materials just meant paying standard retail to local merchants. End of story. Kemetro completely changes that dynamic with 3 really simple pillars: wholesale prices, limited time, and your area. They are bringing time-sensitive, hyper-local bulk deals directly to the everyday buyer. You don't need a commercial contractor's license to get a break on the cost anymore. By grouping demand and tapping into local supply, they're taking the exclusivity out of wholesale pricing and putting it right there on your phone.
Moving on to Section 2, Inside Flash Deals.
Let's look at the actual mechanics of this platform using some real mock data examples straight from their interface. The very first thing that jumps out is the sheer scale of the markdowns. I mean, 44% off. This is not your standard weekend retail sale. For example, they've got this grade A Portobello bathroom wall tile heavily discounted, dropping from $195 EGP down to just $111 EGP per square meter. That kind of margin disruption, honestly, it's pretty rare for premium, grade A finishing materials.
Let's break down the actual math on a couple more examples so you can see why buyers are jumping all over this. Say you need matte gray Cleopatra porcelain floor tiles. Well, the flash deal saves you exactly 100 EGP per square meter. Or, let's say you're painting. An 18-liter can of Sayerlac premium interior paint drops from $650 down to $420 EGP. That is a savings of 230 EGP per can. And look, when you're renovating a house, you're obviously not just buying 1 square meter of tile or a single can of paint, right? You're buying in bulk. So those savings compound incredibly fast, which is absolutely vital for keeping a tiny renovation budget from just spiraling out of control.
But you might be wondering, how do they actually secure these crazy prices? Well, it all comes down to the mechanics of group buying and clearance. Every single deal has a live countdown timer. Some end in a day, some in literally an hour and a half. Secondly, they use minimum order quantities, so you might need to buy at least 2 cans of paint or maybe 10 square meters of tile to get the deal. And finally, there's this live viewer and order tracker. You can literally see that 89 orders were placed in the last hour, or that 120 people are staring at the same deal right now. It creates this super fast-paced, high-urgency environment where our collective purchasing power basically forces the price down.
All right, Section 3, the seller's advantage.
Now, a marketplace really only works if both sides are winning. So why on earth are suppliers so eager to hand out these discounts? It is a classic matchmaking dynamic. The buyer gets wholesale prices and super fast 2 to 7 day delivery, right? Meanwhile, the seller gets to instantly clear out their excess stock. This injects cash right back into their business, and it completely bypasses the massive overhead costs of just letting unsold inventory sit in a warehouse gathering dust. For sellers, Kemetro Flash acts as this incredible high-speed release valve.
And they've made it incredibly straightforward for merchants to actually do this with a really simple 3-step process. Step 1, the merchant identifies whatever excess or surplus stock they have lying around. Step 2, they just log into their dedicated Kemetro Flash dashboard. And step 3, they instantly spin up a time-limited deal to this massive, captive audience of active buyers. The seller dictates the minimum order quantities so the logistics actually make sense for them, and then the Kemetro platform handles the entire rush of demand. It's just a wildly empowering tool that turns surplus materials into an instant revenue boost.
Which brings us to Section 4, the eco-impact.
So this platform is actually quietly operating as a major macro-environmental solution too. I really want you to pause for a second and think about this. What actually happens to excess building materials? Think about it. When a factory produces too much, or maybe a distributor can't sell a certain style of tile before the next season's catalog comes out, where does all that stuff go? Well, the unfortunate reality is that a massive percentage of unsold, perfectly good construction stock just ends up in a landfill. Why? Simply because it's cheaper to dump it than it is to store it indefinitely.
And this is exactly where Kemetro Flash steps in as a really vital piece of green tech. By connecting that surplus inventory directly with eager buyers, the platform is actively salvaging perfectly good building materials from landfills. But here's the best part. They actually measure the impact. They have this built-in tracker that calculates the exact kilograms of waste saved by Kemedar users, and then it automatically translates that into the equivalent tons of CO2 avoided. So when you participate in a flash deal, you aren't just saving a bunch of money, you're quite literally participating in the circular economy and driving down the carbon footprint of the entire construction industry. How cool is that?
Finally, Section 5, the complete ecosystem.
So let's zoom out for a second to look at the broader architecture here. Because Kemetro isn't just a digital clearance bin. It is a massive, multi-seller marketplace for home building and finishing products. Whether you are looking for plumbing, electrical, a whole new kitchen, or just basic raw materials, it's designed to be this all-in-one comprehensive hub. The Flash app we've been talking about, that's really just one entry point into a much larger, fully integrated corporate ecosystem that is entirely dedicated to construction and property.
To support that massive hub, they've built out some seriously impressive digital infrastructure for both buyers and sellers. You've got Kemedar AI search to help you effortlessly navigate millions of listings and find exactly what you need. They have a whole loyalty system called Chemecoin Rewards. On the seller side, there's a store coordinator program to help them manage their digital storefronts. And for buyers, a bedrock secure shopping guarantee. It is a highly structured environment built from the ground up to make the notoriously painful process of sourcing building materials as seamless as buying a book online.
Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer today, but I want to leave you with one final, totally provocative thought. We've just seen how Kemetro Flash uses urgency and localization to solve massive systemic inefficiencies in construction materials. So how could time-limited, hyper-local marketplaces reshape other wasteful industries? I mean, if we can save perfectly good porcelain tiles from a landfill while simultaneously slashing costs for an everyday homeowner, where else can we apply this model? It is a truly fascinating question about the future of the circular economy. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.